The Dead Pixel Society podcast is brought to you by Mediaclip, Advertech Printing, and Independent Photo Imagers. Welcome to the Dead Pixel Society podcast, the photo imaging industry's leading news source. Here's your host, Gary Peugeot.
Hello again, and welcome to the Dead Pixel Society podcast. I'm your host, Gary Peugeot, and today we're joined by professional photographer James Katsipis, and he's coming to us from Montauk, New York. Hi, James. How are you today?
Hey, Gary. How's it going? Thanks for having me.
So you are a professional photographer who is unusual in the sense that you are very, very focused and you're not a general purpose photographer. What are those areas and how did you get into the business?
All right. So I started off as a surf photographer, professional surf photographer. And I did that for many years, like 15 years. I shot all pro surfing all around New York in the winter, primarily in the snow, and other various cold places around the world. So that was kind of like my niche. And then I did a lot of campaigns. We did some fashion. And then I ended up landing in fine art gallery work. So that's where I've been living now, is just in the gallery world, selling fine art.
So what was that transition like? Because I can't imagine the New York surf market is huge. Is it?
Yeah. You know what? It's really funny. We actually do have a really big community here in New York. People don't know how good the waves are here, but we have very good waves. And I'm from Montauk, New York, and we have some of the best waves on the East Coast of America.
Okay.
So we do have a pretty good market, and it actually is kind of fun because most people do say surfing New York because they think of like skyscrapers.
Exactly.
And I'm like, no, Montauk's a little bit different. It's like a little small beach town. It's really sleepy. But the transition into galleries was kind of easy because, you know, while I was out there shooting the surfing, I was always shooting the landscapes that surrounded it to try to like tell the whole story the day. Like, you know, it wouldn't just be the surfing. It would be, you know, what does the beach look like? The sunsets in the afternoons, you know, just to sort of tell the whole story of the whole day. And people were really drawn to like those, even like, let's say like those B-roll shots. And they're like, really like that really big for my wall. And I was like, oh, we can do that. And then more and more people started wanting that more. And I'm like, oh, this is like this is a business here. And then I had gallerists like approaching me like, hey, we would like to do a show with you. Would you be interested in something like that? And I'm like, okay, yeah. So we did that. And then it just steamrolled from there. And so now I'm a full-time fine art photographer selling art.
Do you have training background or did you come to it because you were a surfer and you were the one with the camera?
So all my friends were very good surfers and some professional. I was not. So I elected myself to be the photographer and I taught myself photography. And I took it in high school and I really liked it and it just sort of stuck with it. And then like my first shot I had published with Eastern Surf Magazine, I got a check for like, I think it was like $40.
Wow.
And I still have a photo of the check.
Yeah.
And I was like, $40. Like, I can make money doing this.
Right.
I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, this is what I want to do. If I can do this for a living, I'm set. And so then I just kept going down that road and knocking on all the doors saying, hey, you know, take a look at these photos. And people were very receptive to my work and it just built up over time. That's how we did it. But yeah, it all started on the beach with me and a little fanny pack, my Canon Rebel film camera, and like a bag full of 36 mil, you know, 36 shots, 35 mil rolls, and just blasting away all day, like not knowing what I'm doing. But I had a lot of good mentors over the years that sort of took me under their wing and said, hey, maybe try doing this. And we have a lot of really great artists here in Montauk.
Yeah. So that's sort of like the kind of the East Coast art community, right? With all the galleries out there and that sort of thing. Like, like Martha's Vineyard. I know Martha's Vineyard, not New York, but it's sort of that sort of vibe.
The Hamptons, very white linen, very nice.
And people want to have beautiful art for their walls, and you're willing to sell it to them, correct?
Absolutely. I'm very willing.
So when it came time to look at presenting your work, to selling your work, how did you do that? I mean, were you like, hey, I'm going to just, you know, throw up a gallery and hope people sign it? Or did you pre-print work and take it around?
For show. I printed everything and had it all framed and threw it all up on the walls in this one gallery. It was the most chaotic ADHD looking show you've ever seen in your life. And I think we sold one thing, but I was very young. I'm 18 or something. And then a good friend of mine who I look up to very much, very well accomplished artist, Dalton Portella, came to the show. And I said, so what do you think? And he goes, very busy. Oh, very busy. And I never forgot that. And so then I started going to his shows and seeing how he was presenting his work. And it was all on these acrylics. And then Dalton showed me how it was done. And he actually introduced me to his printer at the time in Brooklyn. And I started working with him. And so then I started presenting all my work in acrylics at all the galleries and stuff.
You've delineated your work. Is it all acrylic or have you tried different?
No, we've tried for my large format prints that are going in really big homes, like 120 inches by 45 inches, like triptychs and stuff. Definitely acrylics, because anything that big is going to have a reflection. So we have to do the anti-glare acrylics. Those are the best. I find the metals to be a little too glossy at that size.
Right.
And they do have a shine to them, which is fine. That's a look, like that's preference. Like you can like that. But when you're going to those giant sizes, it can be a little bit much.
Right.
And if you have lights, and no matter what type of lights you put on those metals, it can be a little, you see the spots in there.
Do you work with designers at that level where you actually like talk about lighting placement and
some of the houses that are built out here will build in the art to the homes. So we'll come in and they'll be like, all right, the electrician needs to put in a spotlight here at 40-degree angles and 30-degree angles for the piece that's going in there. And sometimes I'm surprised because we'll go do the install at a house that I don't know. And I'll be like, oh my God, this piece looks perfect in here. And the owner will be like, yeah, we built your piece into our bedroom, like when we were building the room.
Wow.
Like, I did not know that. Like, I'm honored and flattered. But yeah, so we work with a lot of interior designers and some contractors when we have a big piece being done.
Yeah, because I imagine, with an acrylic print, which is not light, it's not, there's a lot of engineering that needs to go in place to hang one of those, right?
Yes. I have a very, very great crew. And Chris LaCour, he is another owner of a gallery in town. He is just a math wizard when it comes to hanging. Like if you put me in that room alone with the acrylic, like nothing's getting hung. You're just going to have giant holes in the wall. Like I'm going to mess up relentlessly. He's in there. He can like look and be like, okay, this is it. 60 on center. Let's go. And he's in and out of there so fast.
So do you consider yourself to be more technical or emotional or what?
Emotional. I have friends that are techie guys and just like, I'm not there. Like I see a photo and I know how to compose it in my mind and I know what to do with my camera and stuff. But like, if you want to go into like the specs of each camera and how that all works, I'm just not your guy.
Well, are you still shooting on that Canon Rebel with the kit lens with the film, or have you moved up?
We have moved on, but it's so funny. Like it's all come full circle because now I'm like shooting on like my old Pentax 6.7 again, which I love, and just wasting so much money on film right now. And like shooting with a 4.5 Horseman with a 6x17 back, which is for medium format, which is like, three frames in one shot. And like, you mess up and there's like, $30 mess up right there. But that's my side gig. Yeah. I shoot primarily with my Fuji GFX, my 102S. I love that camera. That camera it's amazing. One of the best cameras I've ever shot with. I was a big Canon guy for a while. And then I switched to Sony because I liked how small, compact they are. Love their low light capabilities, they're amazing. But if I may critique, I don't like their color palette very much for portraits or even landscapes. Like the skies are always green, right? You got to like bring it back to normal. The Fuji color palette for me, it's perfect. And, and I can go shoot a roll of Portra 400 and it could match very easily between. So like it gives it that nice film look. And that's kind of what I don't want to have to do a whole lot of post process.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
I had a mentor that told me if you're messing with a photo for longer than 15 minutes, it's a failed photo.
Well, that is where the heritage comes from, like where Fuji's heritage of being a filmmaker, right? They know what it's supposed to look like, and then they can transfer that to the digital side. They've always kind of had that secret sauce in what they do.
Yeah. You know, I'm just so confused. Like they have the crop sensor and then the medium format sensor, but they won't do like a full sensor.
Right.
Which is interesting because I want one.
Well,
get out there.
So let's talk a little bit about the output side of the business. Have you always managed the sale of your own stuff with your own website? And what was that like? I mean, did you have stuff pre-printed, or were you printing on demand, or how did that start?
All right. So in the very beginning, I pre-printed and said, hey, I'm going to do a run of 25 of this image, and we would sell out. And I'm like, okay, great. And then I was like, okay, then I was printing on demand. And then I tried to make like a Squarespace website or something like that. And it was good and it did really well. But I was also having to log every single order manually, which takes so much time. I mess up, I make mistakes. I put the wrong address in. You know, when you're doing like 30 orders in a row, like you just sort of try to get in the groove, but then your mind goes somewhere else. And then you like type in the wrong zip code, you know, and then the client's like, hey, where's my photo? I ordered this thing like 2 weeks ago. And I'm like, that's a very good question. Where is your photo? And then I look and it's like they're in like California and it's in Idaho, you know, and then I have to be like, I'm so sorry. Let me redo this for you. And then if the person or the company that you're using didn't pack it correctly and it comes damaged after they waited for those 4 weeks, then you're really in the gutter with them. So we had to find something a little bit more sustainable here for me, you know, hence
your partnership with Whitewall and what they're doing, right? So talk a little bit about it, because I mean, I've had some people on Whitewall in the past on the podcast, and it's always, you know, they're very well known for obviously the high quality, and the attention to detail, and you know, especially acrylic, right? That's sort of like one of their secret sauce kind of things. So
someone does it better than them.
So what was it the quality or attention to detail, or what was the thing that tipped it in scale in favor of them?
So I own my own gallery in Montauk, right? And we were getting so many orders, and I was paying someone to place all these orders, and that was costing me a lot of money. And then there would still be mistakes. And then I was like, there has to be a way, because I run my site through Shopify, right? I built it around Shopify. So I could have my POS system in the gallery and my online store all connected as one.
Right.
So I could see what's moving, what's not. And then finally I started deep diving, and I'm like, is there an app that a printer uses for Shopify that I can just integrate the system? And there really wasn't. But I reached out to Whitewall and they're like, listen, we're building one right now, but it's not going to be ready for a few months. Right. And I was like, okay, I can wait that long. Right. And then finally they kind of like soft launched it, and I immediately jumped on that. And I worked with their team to get it going and set up, and my web designer as well. It actually was very easy. I'll get all these orders, right? And my phone dings. I look at it. I'm like, oh, I got an order. I open it up. I say, okay, so-and-so wants this image, 30 by 40 acrylic, and it's going to California. This is how much it costs for me to make. This is what they paid. Accept. Order goes right to Whitewall. They make it. They pack it perfectly, and then they just drop ship it right to them. So basically all I had to do was this. That was it. Now it's like, oh, I can be like out riding my bike and go, oh, cool, I got an order. Put it right back in my pocket. Like, I just made a sale. Great.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Photo retailers, energize your sales with ShareMe Chat, the proven texting platform. Using chat to text on your website keeps your customers connected and buying. See us at Pro and IPI to find out why dealers using ShareMe Chat close more sales without adding staff. Find out more at shareme.chat.
So it saved you a lot of time and also increased accuracy.
And they're cheaper for shipping. And they're in Germany, which is crazy. They're faster and cheaper for shipping in Germany, in Europe, compared to the other printers in the United States. And their packaging is so well. So and you gotta understand, like UPS and FedEx, like they are
they're staffed by gorillas.
But you know, like I'd be getting with the other printers that we're using, I'd be getting so many damaged prints a week. And they'd be sending me photos of like literally like boot prints on top of the packing and all this stuff. Now it's sort of eliminated that because the way I think, so I've been thinking about this. So the way Whitewell is doing it is direct. So when you're coming from, let's say, the West Coast over to New York, it has to change so many hands with the shipper, and there's just way more chances of it getting damaged. Meanwhile, with this way, I think it touches less hands in shipping. So less chance for it to be damaged. And I had one damaged print, and it was 100% because of UPS. It wasn't because of Whitewall.
So let's talk about that because, you know, when you're absorbing that cost of that damaged print, right? I mean, that's going to hit your bottom line directly.
Absolutely. Yeah, that, and it makes me look bad. And it gives you bad reviews, you know, and people don't mind telling you what they feel, you know, on the internet. They'll give you that 1 star real quick.
Yeah.
And so when it shows up, and they spend a lot of money for this art.
Right.
And then
that's what I'm saying. You're talking about just a simple envelope 4x6 prints. We're talking about
these acrylic pieces. You know, it's like a lot of money for the average Joe. And so when they're all excited, they make the commitment to buy your art. And they're like, oh, they've been tracking it for days. And like, oh my God, today's the day. It's showing up. And then UPS shows up and the thing's like cracked open. It's in pieces. And, you know, they go straight to me.
Yeah. They're your customer.
And then I used to have to go back to the printer and be like, hey, look what happened. And they're like, okay, we'll do a reprint. No problem. I'll talk to you later. There's no, they weren't really doing any quality control, customer control, you know, customer satisfaction. They're just like, oh, whatever. You deal with the clients. We'll make you a new print. But I'm the one getting all the heat.
So how long have you been using the Shopify integration?
For a year.
So you've had a year now to look at it. And what are some of the benefits you've seen to that?
I mean, the headaches I used to get, like what we were just talking about with the damages and the dealing with the clients, all that stuff, that would take up like 30% of my week, just writing those emails, apologizing. Oh, I'm so sorry your print is lost. I'm so sorry your print came damaged. Like, so that eliminates that stress. So that's a big benefit for me because I would have like knots in my stomach because I don't want my clients being unhappy with me. I take it personally. So now I have my website and every time I upload a new photo, I just literally, I upload it to Whitewall's, like you'll have your own account on Whitewall and you upload the high res file to them. And then it automatically lives with Whitewall. It just lives there. And then you sync that to the photo you upload on your Shopify. Just pick everything you want to sell, like all the different formats and sizes. It's up to you. Like you don't have to sell everything. Like I don't do canvas. I will never do canvas. It's not happening. I just don't add canvas. That's my preference. So you can make it however you want to make it, you know? And once that's done, that's where it lives. So you don't have to sit there and upload a 1 gigabyte file every time you have to place an order. So they already have your portfolio there, you know, and I know it's safe and I know it's not going anywhere. So that also saves a lot of time.
And there's a synchronization between the Whitewall storage and the Shopify. So let's say, for example, you had to update an image, it automatically takes care of that.
So say I upload a photo and I'm like, because I'm OCD, I'm like, I don't really like that leaf there. I can like take it down or just upload a new one and just resync it, you know, updated file. So I think they did an amazing job with this app and their whole team. It was a team effort. I was on the Zoom call with their whole digital team that was building it. And we were like having real conversations. They really cared about the process and how I was using it. And they still do to this day. They still check in with me saying, how's everything going? Is this working? Is it what's not working for you? They're always looking for feedback.
Now, do you have any items on your wish list still for the integration that you'd like to see happen?
Okay, so the only thing, and I don't even know if it's technically possible yet, it just might be too hard of an endeavor at this point. So like all my photos right now are at 3:2 crop ratio. As other people like, 4:5s or 6:7, depending on what camera you shoot and stuff like that. So now all mine you have to crop each image to 3:2.
Right.
So let's say, and I am by no means complaining. I'm just saying this is one thing I would tweak.
Yeah.
I'm very happy. So they have these acrylic blocks that they sell, which I love, and all my clients love to buy. They're in two different sizes. They're like 6 inches by 4 inches, and then the bigger one is 8 by 6 or something. You can only sync the smaller acrylic blocks with my 3:2 crop.
Right.
Sync to the larger blocks because I think the larger blocks are a 4.
Yeah.
If we could somehow get it to use different crops in one store, that would be great. Because I obviously have, I have 1-to-1 crops. I have squares. I have some that are more 3:2, and some are, wider, like 4:5. Like my Fuji is, 4:5 crop native, I believe.
Is it important for you that the image be presented in the crop that you done, or would it be okay for you if somebody were to recrop an image, maybe in an untasteful way?
Clients,
that's what I was getting at, right? Because you're an actual artist, so
I get people all the time in the gallery. Can we crop this way? And I tell them, I said, listen, I shot this in a certain way because this is how I want to present it to the world.
Right?
So so like, I'm really happy there's not like the black and white option. That's
what I'm saying. Like,
no, I want something black and white. It will be in black and white on my website. It was meant that way.
They're kind of at a different level than, let's say, the typical consumer-ish site where
it's not it's not wedding pictures.
Right. Exactly.
Like, no, I took a lot of time and effort to make this photo exactly.
Well, 15 minutes. No more than 15 minutes.
Professor Mizdow, that's who told me that. Yeah, he told me. Anything after 15 minutes has failed. I was like, okay.
So when is this done on the top line side in terms of sales or anything like that? Has you seen any appreciable growth there since integration with this?
Now that I'm with Whitewall and they're in Europe, I get a lot more orders all over the world now. And because people were like, oh, you're located in America. What's that going to take to get this piece to us in like France or anywhere else? And I'm like, no. My printer's your neighbor. It's going to be, because they're like, oh, shipping's going to be, insane to ship this from America, a giant acrylic. I'm like, no, it's going to get to you faster and cheaper now. So people, all over the world will buy my work because they know it's not going to cost them $1,000 to ship this.
Okay. So you're seeing more global interest in what you're doing. Is there anything happening on the SEO side for that? I'm just curious where you think that's coming from.
I do belt it out that I'm working with Whitewall and that they are in Germany and they are the best and they are streamlined. And I have followers from all over the world. So they are hearing me say it.
You're so shy and reserved, though.
I'm always working on my SEO to try to get it up there real higher. So maybe, maybe it's organic.
Cool.
Yeah. So there's another thing I wanted to say, but even with like the Shopify now, the one thing I worked on for so long was the abandoned cart issue.
Right.
So
exactly.
Getting, people, they love this. They get it. They pick it. They take the time to make it. And then they put it in the cart and they're like, I'm just not ready to do that. And a lot of the problem was the checkout process. It gives you a lot more time to doubt your purchase. Now with Shopify and Apple Pay and Whitewall, they just go chick twice on their phone and then it's done. And then they made that sale. So that it's definitely turned over a lot of empty carts.
That's good because that is one of the big concerns, especially for a lot of the higher ticket, right? People get into it and they get to a certain point.
Yeah. Hey, I'm in the same boat. I do that sometimes myself, but sometimes I'm just like, I forgot it. And I just double click.
If it's that easy, right?
That easy. That's all.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
So where would people go for more information to see your work and place many, many orders?
You can just go to my website, justkatsipis.com, or you can follow me on Instagram. That's Let's Talk Grams. TAUK, like Montauk. My gallery right on Main Street in Montauk. If you come out for the summer and you're hanging out at the beach, we're at a 724 Montauk Highway.
Nice. Well, thank you so much, James. It's great to meet you.
Gary.
I'm glad to hear that there's someone out there making money selling prints. That's awesome. All right.
Thanks, Gary.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Dead Pixel Society podcast. Read more great stories and sign up for the newsletter at www.thedeadpixelssociety.com.